Okay. Ah ha ha ha. Yeah, that now you should now I'm getting I'm getting it really loud. Now I'm getting indication that I didn't look at my meter and my meter wasn't moving. So now we can now you should be able to hear me. Wow, that was fun. Okay, so let me start over. AC hasn't been working. I had a meeting yesterday with an image consultant who's just starting her business, so that was a lot of fun. Love helping people. Remember to give this a thumbs up, a like, a heart, a say an angry face, a sad face, whatever. It really helps to boost us in the algorithm if you share it. So just share it to your maybe if you want to share it to your messenger or to your wall or to whatever, it lets Facebook know that we're voice that we're worth watching if you think it's worth watching. I especially think dealing with stress is going to be a big thing right now, simply because of what's going on in the world. Yeah, I didn't tone this down enough. I did a pre thing. I never know which, you know. Sometimes I don't see until after the show that, maybe there was a little bit too much contouring going on. And now it looks like I have too much contouring going on today. I actually used highlighter too, and I think it's a little too shiny. So that was an experiment. Don't think I'm going to do that again. It's kind of sparkly, and I don't really care for that. But I did get my regular lashes back on. I experimented for a few weeks with magnetic lashes, and I did kind of like them. But I don't know, I've just gotten such a habit of using the glues that I can get the glue-on ones on just as fast as I can get the magnetic ones on. So, and then there was things about the magnetic ones I didn't like. So, also anybody that signed up for the lashes class, I've got one of the interviews is recorded. And instead of doing it live, I think I'm just going to finish recording. I could never get everybody to be live at the same time. And then Webinar Jam, the webinar service that I use, they converted, then they upgraded, and it's just awesome. I love the service. I love tech support's amazing. And I love Webinar Jam and the whole shot, but they upgraded. My account kind of fell through the cracks. So, and they used to have this thing to go live and I didn't need it. So I canceled that. Well, when I canceled that, they canceled my entire account. Well, I'm a legacy, which means I bought in early. So I got grandfathered in at a very low price. And then they were like, oh, hey, Carrie. Then gorgeous. Thank you, Fiona. And then, so they said, well, what we need you to do is recreate a new account. And here's the new price, which is 5 times what I was paying before. 5 times. I mean, it's worth it, but I'm not paying 5 times if I'm a grandfathered in at the other price. So it took a while to get that all worked out. Still not worked out, actually. So that's a problem. Oh, look at the time. All right, so we'll chit chat more later after the show. Let me pull up my notes. Make sure that you keep commenting and asking questions during the chit chat, because when I come back to answer questions and there's no questions there, it's like, all right, guess I'm going now. So anyway, let me fade to black, pull up my notes, and we'll get started talking about stress. Stress is the body's response to what's going on in your life. And there's positive stress and there's negative stress. Pretty much what we'll talk about today is negative stress, but more importantly, I'm going to give you almost 20 different ways to counteract stress in your life on this morning's Coffee with Colleen. Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Colleen. If this is the first time you're watching me, my name is Colleen Hammond. I'm a former on-camera meteorologist for the Weather Channel, turned image consultant, coach, and mentor. And I've got something coming out of my eye. So I like to teach women, as an image consultant, I like to teach women how to look beautiful on the inside, outside, which improves confidence. But more importantly, I think it's important to deal us beautiful from the inside out. So today we're going to be talking about stress. And what is stress really? Basically, here comes my chemistry and my medical background, right? Because those of you who know me know I was pre-med in college and I have a degree in chemistry. Stress is just a chemical reaction in your body. And what it does is it initiates this fight, flight, or freeze response in your body as a way to act or prevent injury. So that's just what they call it, is the stress response. And everybody responds to stress differently. But in general, any kind of stress is going to increase your heart rate, your muscles are going to tighten, your breathing quickens, and your blood pressure rises. So can you relate to that? Which one of those are the ones that initiate in your body right away? And different ways, different parts of your body are going to react to stressors in different ways. So it's just how you have learned, and your body has learned, and your brain has learned to protect yourself. And stress means different things to different people. So what may be stressful for me, you're like, why is that stressing you out, Colleen? It may not be stressful for you, and the flip side is true too. And the way we handle stress is different. Some people are better at handling stress than others, and men and women handle stress in different ways. So normally when a man is stressed, he goes to his cave. If you've read Mars and Venus, a man will become antisocial, and he will withdraw and deal with things like with sports, either engaging in sports or watching sports. He's not going to, we're not going to talk about it. Where women want to talk it out. They need to vent. They need to discuss it. So women become more social when they're stressed as a way of avoiding it or dealing with it. So again, and not all stress is bad, in small doses, right? Your body is equipped to help you accomplish tasks with minor amounts of stress. So when you're driving and you glance up, you glance down, you glance up, and the car in front of you is stopped, that's an immediate stress response. Are you going to fight, flight, or freeze? Well, hopefully you're going to slam on the brakes to avoid hitting the car in front of you. That's a short-term stressor. Your heart rate goes up, your breathing increases. You react, your muscles tighten and you react, and then it's over. But in our culture and in our society, and especially what we're going through right now, August of 2020, when we're shooting this, is there's a lot going on in the world with the pandemic and quarantines and masks, and this is all new to us right now. Maybe you're watching this a year later and it's like old news, Maybe you're so used to wearing a mask, we're still wearing masks. Maybe we're not wearing masks anymore. Who knows, right? I don't know what the future holds, but that's part of that stress response. So our bodies can handle that small doses of stress, but we're not equipped. Our bodies are not meant to handle long-term stress, chronic stress, without consequences. So stress is all over the place. Where is stress in your life? And more importantly, what are the symptoms of stress? So you may get a stress response if you discipline your children, or busy times at work, or when you're going over the finances, or when you're doing your taxes, or maybe you're dealing with a challenging relationship. If you are a member of the Café Club, you have inside your membership area right now is a full page list of about 100 different symptoms or signs to look for, because sometimes when you're in a chronic stress situation, you don't even realize that you're under stress. And if you're not familiar with the Café Club, check out, there's a link in the description that will give you that information on the Café Club, and then as members, certain levels will get all the bonuses. And so that symptom checklist is one of the bonuses for this particular show. So a little stress is okay, but long-term stress is harmful. So the first thing you have to do is identify your symptoms of stress, because my symptoms of stress may not be the same as yours. And as we talked about earlier, men and women have different symptoms and experience stress in different ways. So sometimes now we're so used to being in this constant state of stress, we don't know until we hit the breaking point. So the breaking point for some people, because long-term stress does have consequences, mental health problems, depression, anxiety, personality disorders. You may develop heart disease, high blood pressure, arrhythmia, heart attack, even a stroke. Some people deal with stress by eating. So now you're looking at, wow, where did I gain this 50 pounds? So you have obesity, eating disorders. You could develop Sexual dysfunction, whether, men or women are going to deal with that differently. You have menstrual problems or premature menopause, or men experience it in different ways as well. You may develop skin or hair problems, acne, psoriasis, eczema. We talked about hair loss, and it's permanent hair loss. When you're stressed, you may be pulling gobs of hair. You may notice after a shower there's more hair in the drain, but it couldn't be short. It might not be short term. It may be long term. Gastrointestinal problems, GERD, gastritis, ulcerative colitis, irritable colon, those types of things. So there's a lot of these negative side effects that go along hand in hand with stress. HPA axis, which axis, 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 that's, with your adrenals and your hormonal problems. So one of the most important ways to deal with stress is know what your stressors are and avoid them. Well, duh. Oh, this stresses me out, so I'm not going to do it. Well, what if it's a certain situation that you can't avoid, right? But first of all, you do have to identify there are some stressors in your life that you can avoid. And one of those, you'll know what those are for you. What are those for you? So if there's a certain person on Sundays when you're at church that stresses you out, then just avoid them. Right? If there is a financial situation in your life, you can't avoid that one. So there are certain things you can avoid and certain things you can't. So remove anything that's causing you undue stress, and get those things out of your life. And one of the things I also wanted to mention, I forgot to mention this earlier, is that some of our stressors can come from our early childhood experiences. So something that may have happened to us in early childhood will linger, and it'll be in the back of your mind, and it's, digging into your past. Why is this bothering you so much? And it goes hand in hand with what I said. Something may bother you, but it doesn't bother me. So why does that stress you out? That's no big deal, but it may go back. So just kind of search into your life, go back into your life as to why that may stress you out. We've talked about this in other shows as far as perfectionism and that type of thing may be related to how your parents dealt with you. And I'm not saying they did a bad thing. We all as parents do the best we can, but each child is going to perceive our actions a little bit different, and maybe you did that differently. So look back into your childhood for those types of stressors. And also at this point, you don't want to be a stressor for anyone else. And you don't want to put stress on any child that they're going to carry on into their lifetime either. So that's kind of a duh, as well as don't be a stressor for somebody else. But the second way to handle stress, and one of the most effective ways, is having a strong support system around you. And in general, that's going to be your family unit. So surrounding yourself with family, prioritizing your family, having strong family ties can buffer negative effects. And we've talked about this before too, is that the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb, meaning the blood that we share in the battlefield with our friends can be thicker and a stronger bond than our family bonds. So when we're saying family, it doesn't necessarily mean our blood relatives. It could be those people that we're shedding blood with in the field. Number 3 is to always maintain a positive attitude and realize that everything happens for a reason. And we may not know what that reason is right now, but you may be on your way to someplace really important and you get a flat tire along the way, and you're pulling over to the side of the road. Now you got to change a flat tire and you're going to be late, and this was an important job interview. But what you didn't know is that there was a truck coming over the other side of the hill that was in your lane. And if you had still been going, you'd been in a head-on collision and dead, instead of at the side of the road fixing a tire. Or maybe that's not the job you were supposed to have. Maybe there's something better for you in the future. So when you live every day, day to day, and it's frustrating at times. I'm a really positive person, but it gets frustrating. Everything happens for a reason. And just to understand that and realize that and accept where you are at this particular moment. And that falls to number 4, is that mindfulness and acceptance. Accept that there are events in your life that are totally out of your control. And if you're a control freak, Um, learn to not be a control freak. It's kind of sometimes a lifelong process, but there are things in your life that you absolutely cannot control. No, I can control. No, you can't. You can't control the weather. You can't control what other people say, do, think, act. So, understanding that. Number 5, learn to be assertive. And I don't mean aggressive. So stay true to your opinions, your beliefs, your feelings, but without being angry, defensive, or passive. So learning to stand up for yourself, and that will help you reduce stress, because sometimes the stress in our life is other people asserting or being aggressive toward us about their opinions, and you're wrong and I'm right. You know what? Back off. That's why I don't engage in a lot of these arguments online, because really nobody's going to be changing my opinion. I'm self-assured, and I've researched and I've come to my opinions over years for certain reasons, and you're not going to change my mind. So when people get into these arguments online, I'm like, why? Do you really think you're going to change somebody else's opinion? There are very few moderate, people like on the fence in the world that are going to go one way or another. And is it really your responsibility in the world to change their mind? I don't know. Maybe it is. It's not mine. Number 6, learn and practice relaxation techniques like meditation. Even 12 minutes. I don't know where they get the 12 minutes, but studies have shown that 12 minutes of meditation a day, just quieting your mind and listening to God. Praying is talking to God, but how much are you listening? And being able to sit in quiet and be able to, here it goes again, listen in meditation, just 12 minutes a day. So set your timer for 15 minutes and sit and be quiet and just listen. Get all the thoughts out of your mind, and just, for me, it was focusing on the tip of my nose and feeling the breath going in and out of my nose. That's how I started to learn to meditate, to really get thoughts out of my mind, because my mind's going a mile a minute, to just focus and stop thinking. So meditation. Tai Chi. I tried Tai Chi. It's so slow. I'm like, oh, I can't do this. It's just so slow. Which is number 7, exercise. Get out and go for a walk. We're not talking about CrossFit, but maybe that's your thing. That's great. But getting out and going for a walk regularly, your body can fight stress when it's in shape. Which brings us to number 8, eating healthy meals, getting good fats, getting plenty of greens, especially now that we're heading into cold and flu season. You know what that means, to make sure that your body is healthy. Liposomal vitamin C. Contact me about that. Number 9, time management. Learning to manage your time more effectively. I bent my will to somebody else's idea of time, and found that I had less and less time for myself. I wasn't getting my exercise in, and somebody else wanted to do it on this particular time frame, and that didn't work for me. But it was like, no, we need to meet, we need to do this, we need to do that. That didn't work for me. Now I'm getting my exercise in, I'm getting my full meditation in, I'm getting makeup on in the morning, which I wasn't, because I was bending my will to somebody else. And that's part of me being a people pleaser. I've got to stop that. So learning to manage your time more effectively. What works for you? Exercise small in the morning works for me. I lift in the afternoon. So that's works for me. So learning what works for your time frame and your schedule and your life, and then being assertive enough about that to maintain that. Number 10, set limits appropriately. Set your boundaries. Learn to say no. Because you'll find that when you're a people pleaser and you say yes to other people's demands or opinions or whatever, it's added stress in your life. Number 11, hobbies. What are your hobbies, your interests? What do you do for relaxation? Many studies have shown that hobbies are so important for life happiness, because sometimes we get so caught up in being a mom or being an executive or doing other things in our life that we forgot those small little things that we used to do that bring us joy. Whether it's building a model airplane or collecting stamps, or I don't even know, do they have, yeah, I guess they do have stamps I forget. I email so much, I forget that there are stamps still. But getting your hobbies. Number 12, get enough rest and sleep. Your brain needs a minimum of 7 to 8 hours of sleep at night in order to wash itself, to clean, to cleanse and rinse. And if you're not getting that, the next day you will be about 8 points lower in your IQ. So making sure that you're getting that, and you can't deal with stress as well when you're tired. Number 13, do not rely on outside things to help you deal with stress. That goes for alcohol, drugs, compulsive behaviors that we fall into to reduce stress. And that goes back to that symptom list of learning to identify what those stressors are and how you deal with them, whether it's effective or ineffective. And finally, seek out social support. Spending time with the people that you enjoy the most. Now, we started the list with family, and I also mentioned at that point that maybe family, it isn't that doesn't work for you, but finding people in your life, like I like being with you. This is why I like doing the show. Finding people in your life that you enjoy being with. So I hope those tips were helpful for you. Again, make sure that as members of the Café Club, you will get the notes. There's more information on the Café Club in the show notes. And also, we're starting a podcast, and we're getting ready to launch the Style Academy again in the next few weeks. I've got those first modules done, ready, reshot, and ready for you. So if you were a member of the Beta Club, I will be getting in touch with you soon on how you can be an ambassador and the benefits for doing that. So hopefully this information was helpful for you. If it was, make sure you like, comment, and share, because sharing is caring, and help other people deal with the stress in their life. All right, that's for us for today. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week on Coffee with Colleen. Take care. Bye. Bum, ba, da, 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 da. Yeah, I went back and was editing some of the video, and the sound was so low on that intro, so I have to go back and re-edit that. So, all right, let me go back and look at comments that were made during the recording. This is stressful. Let me see. Okay, hey, Beth, didn't see you. Hey, Joanne. Yeah, voice. Hey, Manette, didn't see you here. Hopefully the guys will leave the office soon and I can listen. Yeah. Well, you know what? Facebook, if you're watching on Facebook, I think YouTube does this as well, that they do. I know Facebook does live transcription, so you can actually turn on closed captions, even when we're live. So it's a handy dandy little thing. There's Colette and Margot. Hey, Rick, happy birthday. I didn't realize today is your birthday. Ugh, I ran out of tea this morning, so I made myself coffee. I haven't had coffee in months. I thought I missed it. I really don't. Stress has always plagued me, says Carrie. I ended up with adrenal fatigue. Yeah. That's why I know all about HPA axis. Horrible. Good morning, Carrie Ann. How are you, girl? Ended up with adrenal fatigue because I didn't know how to handle chronic stress. Doctor wanted me to handle stress. It was hard, but it does help. Yeah, it's a process. It's a learning. It's a learning curve. It's a way to, and for me, identifying those symptoms was really important for me. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to buy that whole program on self-care and whatnot, so that I could give you guys these PDFs and things to help you. And I purchased the right to share them. So when you purchase them for personal use, you can purchase them cheap, but then you purchase the rights to share, and that's a lot more expensive. But I thought, when I went through a lot of this stuff, I thought it was so helpful. I wanted to be able to share that with you guys. Very informative, helpful. Appreciate you too, Carrie Ann. Colette says, thank you for the helpful and important information. You're very welcome. Rick says, what stresses me out the most are other people who are stressed out. People can get like a cornered animal. So true. So true. They turn vicious. That's scary. What do? Flee. Fight, flight, or freeze. That's a flight, because some people just don't want to be helped and you can't help them. So they need to be left alone, and it's one of those situations. It's because I care for you. I'm not going to force anything on you. I can't help you with this. You need to help yourself. So I'm going to have to remove myself from the situation. And I've had that discussion with some family members. I had that discussion with one family member who has a lot of mental problems. So when I said that, she got very vicious with me. And I said, I don't have the emotional bandwidth to really, because she's like crabs in a pot, pulling you in and trying to bring you under. And people can be like that in your life. And it's learning to set those boundaries. And again, boundaries are, protecting yourself. And there's a process they go through to set those boundaries. It's like, when you do this, this is how it impacts me. So I'm letting you know that if you do this in the future, this is what I'm going to do. So when you are vicious in your stress life, it impacts me negatively. It causes me stress. I can't help you. So if you do this again, if you come at me again with this, I'm going to hang up. I'm going to walk away. I'm not going to talk to you for the next week until you work through this, or I am not going to be able to help you unless you contact a professional. Once you're seeing a professional, then we can start talking again, which was my conversation. And so it's learning to set those boundaries. Yeah. Do I have a preferred time management system? Yeah. Hey, Bradley. Hey, Liz. Gary, you made it. Yeah. Well, for me, it's a system I've developed for myself. So I have my morning routines. I have developed habits, brain-based habits that we all have habits. So what you need to do first is you need to spend a day or two writing down what you do every half an hour. Maybe set the timer on your phone, or for once every hour, or once every half hour, or originally I was told every 15 minutes. That was really intrusive on my time. I started with once an hour, where I just wrote down, okay, wait a minute, what did I do the past hour? Because you're supposed to get up and walk every 50 minutes or so, right? So your brain can focus for about 45 minutes to 50 minutes. So I had a timer set on my phone for 10 minutes before the top of the hour. So I would work from the top of the hour till, 50 minutes. And then I would say, okay, what did I accomplish this last hour? I get up, and right now I'm on this 1 month, 30-day squat challenge, doing squats a number of times a day, trying to get in 100 squats per day. So I do 10 every hour. So when my timer goes off at 50 minutes, I do 10 squats. Well, before, what I was doing when timer went off, like, okay, what did I accomplish? What did I do this past hour? So what do you do when you get up? Is the first thing you do, you grab your phone? Or is the first thing that you do is check social media? Or do you pick up your phone and go start your coffee? So start tracking. The most important thing to do, first of all, is to track your morning routine. What do you do during the first hour that you're awake? And for me, that's my time management. Is I get up in the morning and I say, okay, this is what I do. Now, I do keep my phone next to my bedstand. It's I wish I could get away from it. Oop, just popped on. I wish I could get away from it, but there's so much on here that, my children still are, as an adult. I have a daughter with 2 young children, and thankfully I did have it, because there was a breathing disorder with the newborn. We were able to handle that right away. But I grab my phone first thing in the morning, but then I do my meditation, because my meditation is on my phone. I have music not music, but they're binaural beats that I listen to during my meditation. So the very first thing before I even get out of bed is I do my prayer and meditation. And that's in bed. So it's the first thing I do. And then after that, then I get up, I go and I start my tea water. And then after I, got the tea water, then the tea has to sit for 10 minutes because of the kind of tea that I use. So I hop on the bike and I do 20 seconds of really super fast pedaling and then 2 minutes of slow, and then 20 seconds of fast and 2 minutes of slow. And I do that for 10 minutes, and that gets my heart going. So by then my tea is done. So then I can take the tea bags out and finish preparing my tea. And then, so I have a set order of things that I do every morning, but I didn't come up with that routine until I really first saw what my current habit is. So once you clock that current habit, and then you can go, okay, this is what needs to be fixed. No wonder I'm not getting my prayer and meditation in. The first thing I do when I grab my phone is look at Facebook. Or the first thing I do when I grab my phone is play Candy Crush. Or the first thing I do in the morning is I grab my phone and text my girlfriend, So these are subconscious habits, so you have to identify what those are first and then say, okay, be proactive. These are the good things I want to do that aren't getting done in my life, and do those things. So Monsi says, awesome presentation. So many stressors out there. Absolutely. Lost count of how many are in my day-to-day. Got to pay more attention. Yeah, and it's part of, once you've identified them, and then seeing how you respond to them is how you can make those changes. Same thing with time management. Great topic, says Sheila. Big problem for me. Thanks, Colleen. Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that Style Academy. Wait till you see it, girl. Oh, super excited. Super, super, super excited. So many amazing things. I forgot how many good things were in there until I went back and looked at it. So super pumped up about getting that launched again. Oops, wait a minute. I clicked the wrong one. I'm going to go over here and make sure everything is working. All right, that's working. Oops. Oh, that just crashed. But that's okay. So yeah, I'll be reaching out to everybody that was part of the beta program and charter members to let you know what's coming up in the next few weeks, and meeting with the new social media manager this afternoon. We've already had a couple of meetings. I've got somebody that's going to be handling all my social media for me. Met with the Facebook ads manager, 2 of them actually last week, and meeting with the marketing manager again this afternoon for a group meeting. And then we have another private one-on-one coming up next week. To really go over the ends, more of the marketing plan and how we're going to do our Facebook ad strategy and all that kind of stuff. Finishing up on the lash class. I've got another call in to the lash expert who does lash extensions, as she's going to be one of the experts in the lash class. Also have a course coming up that we're working on. I'll be probably shooting some stuff on that today on how to look good on camera, because so many of us are on Zoom calls now. So how to make the best presentation on camera. Revamping the perfume class and redoing that. What's the other class I'm revamping? I forgot about it. I went, oh my gosh, this is such a good class. It was the perfume class and another one. And I completely had forgotten about it until somebody said, hey, whatever happened to blah, blah, blah. I went, wow, I forgot about that one. That was a good class. So revamping that, redoing a lot of the emails. And you'll see you're actually getting emails from me now. So we're rebuilding that whole email program. And trying to help people divide down. I don't want to be sending people stuff that they don't want. So I'm trying to divide people down into, do you want to hear from me about business stuff? Or do you want to hear about how to look good for dating? Do you want to hear about just general, like, I just want to look good, type of things. So looking at those different things, we did a survey a month ago, 2 months ago, and people are really interested in self-confidence. Why we, excuse me, started this whole self-confidence thing. So yeah, just a lot of things happening. Let me see. Gary says, the average advice I have heard from billionaires is do not touch your phone for the first hour and the last hour of the day. Yeah, I know Brendan Burchard says that he doesn't even look at his phone or his emails before noon. And I kind of do that until probably 11, I think. But except for my Classic Confidants, the members of my Classic Confidants, you get, like, this morning I sent a video of me with my curlers on. So, no, well, I had half my makeup done. I didn't have my lipstick or my eyelashes. Woo woo. Didn't have my eyelashes on yet. So, but yeah, I think that was a game changer for me. Is just not touching my phone the first thing in the morning. I met with a woman who's like a multimillionaire, and she's a business consultant for other multimillionaires, basically. And I had an opportunity to chat with her, and I said, I'm nowhere near your level, but what's the most important thing that you would recommend to me? And Gary, she told me the same thing. Don't touch your phone. First thing in the morning, don't touch your phone. And I told her, I said, well, I have my alarm on there and I've got this and that. She goes, get an alarm clock, which is funny because I don't even need an alarm clock. Last week I was so sick, which is why we didn't do a Wednesday show last week. And my alarm actually woke me up. And I woke up and I was like, what is that noise? Because I don't need an alarm. My body's been getting up at 5:30 in the morning for years and years and years. I just get up at 5:30 in the morning with or without an alarm. And my alarm was set for 5:50. So 20 minutes after my body normally wakes up and has been waking up for years, an alarm went off and woke me up. And so that's how I knew I was really not doing well and not handling stress well, is that an alarm woke me up. So, but yeah, she said the same thing. So she actually has multiple phones. So she has a private phone. I said, so do you take that one into your bedroom? She said, absolutely not. There's no TV in my bedroom. There's no electronics in my bedroom. I read books, and that's what I do. So that was her advice to me as well, is she has a box and all her phones go into the box 2 hours before she goes to bed at night. All electronics are shut off. And then in the morning, she doesn't handle emails or her phone until she's been up at least a few hours. And she gets herself taken care of first. And that's part of self-care, is learning to treat yourself more important than other people or things. So anyway, yeah, speaking of my social media manager, I'm getting texts. So, alrighty, what time is it? Oh, 33. So that's not bad. So yeah, not heading out. I know Fiona said she's heading out to get her nails done, and I'm going to go get my nails done shortly too. And, having an amazing day. So I hope that information was helpful for y'all. Thank you for asking questions. I'm always like, anybody still here? How is this on? Yeah, and I've been really tired lately and not getting enough sleep. So I was going through today going, my brain is scattered and all over the place. Talk about being 8 IQ points below normal. I actually have been up since 4. And part of it, it's like we were talking about, there's positive stress and negative stress. And this is a positive stress because I'm super excited about launching the Style Academy. And I'm like, I wake up at 4 o'clock and I'm like, I just want to get up and start working. I'm like, no, I need to sleep. And then I lie in bed and it's lie or lay. I always get those two confused. I'm in bed with my eyes open, trying to close my eyes and trying to, pray and meditate, and couldn't get back to sleep. And finally, I think it was like 5:15. I just went, oh, forget it. I might as well just get up. So just a little bit tired. And then this eye is watering like crazy. And then texting me like crazy too. It's been a stressful year, Colette. It really has. How's your business going? I haven't talked to you in a while. So yeah, it has been a stressful year. Yeah, well, I posted this meme a couple weeks ago, 5 years ago. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Because that's part of what you're supposed to do is goal setting. Nobody said where we are right now in 2020. Nobody in 2015 was going, I know where I'm going to be in 2020, wearing a mask, and locked in my house. And, my daughter had COVID, so I know what it's about. My mom died, she's listed as a COVID death, but because of COVID, nobody could be in the hospital with her. So we knew she was in her final weeks, but nobody could be with her. Oh, I'm going to start crying again. Nobody could be with her. And because of COVID, we couldn't have a funeral. Because at the time in Michigan, they couldn't even do services. funeral mass or anything. Nobody could be graveside. There was the priest, the funeral director, the the cemetery person, and one family member. That's it. Everybody else either had to stay in their car X number of feet away, and so we couldn't do that. So there was no closure. I mean, to the point where the storms were going, it was like, oh, I better call mom. Oh, wait, she passed away. So yeah, it's been a stressful year. Yeah, I had to re-examine a lot of these things for myself and see what are my stress responses now and how am I dealing with stress now. And unfortunately, you fall into some old patterns of dealing with it. So anyway, all right, I'm going to skip on out of here. I appreciate y'all being here today. It's always good to see people. And I think what we're going to do is go back to Wednesday only as we approach this launch. I'm like, I got a lot to do. And thankfully, the past 2 weeks, I've had more time on my hands personally and professionally. So I've been able to get a lot more done. So anyway, still pinging me. So I am going to go answer these text messages back to the social media manager and get us on going on our day. So you have a wonderful day as well. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching the replay. If you made it this far in the replay, I doubt it, but thank you if you did. And we will see you for sure next Wednesday on this, but I'll be elsewhere. More social media coming up too. All right. Take care. God bless. Bye.